I was stunned when my cheating wife declared, "You won't get a divorce. I'll put you in a mental institution and occasionally visit with my next lover. Even better, I'll make you crawl to me on your knees and watch as I have fun with young affair partners while you serve me champagne." I had suspected for weeks that something was off. My wife, Melissa, had grown bolder, coming home late, barely acknowledging me, and always smirking like she was in on some joke I didn't understand. But I never expected this. She stood in front of me, arms crossed with that same infuriating smirk. "You won't get a divorce," she said casually, as if she were discussing dinner plans. "You see, I have other ideas for you," she continued. I clenched my jaw, forcing myself to remain calm. "Other ideas?" I asked. "Oh, yes," she replied. She leaned against the counter, swirling the wine in her glass. "I've been talking to a psychiatrist, a very good one, and he agrees. You've been acting unstable, erratic. Who knows, you might need professional help." My blood turned to ice. "Don't look so shocked," she continued. "I'll have you admitted to a mental institution. A few signatures, a little persuasion, and you'll be tucked away nicely." I felt my fists tighten, but I willed myself not to react. This wasn't just cruelty, it was calculated. Melissa tilted her head, her eyes gleaming with sadistic amusement. "And while you're locked up, I'll visit every now and then. Maybe I'll bring my lover along. Oh, and I'll make sure you have a front row seat to the fun. You'll be serving us champagne while I stepped forward, and for the first time, her smirk faltered. "You really think you can do this to me?" My voice was quiet, dangerously controlled. She laughed, but there was a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "Oh, I know I can," she said. I took a slow breath, letting her think she'd won, letting her believe she was in control. But in that moment, something inside me shifted. I wasn't going to beg, I wasn't going to fight with words. I was going to destroy her, and she would never see it coming. Melissa thought she had me cornered. She thought I'd react like a desperate man, yelling, pleading, maybe even breaking down. But that's exactly what she wanted. She needed me to act unstable so she could justify her plan. So I did the opposite. I smiled. "That's an interesting plan," I said, my voice calm. "Very creative." Her eyes narrowed. She had expected outrage, maybe fear, but not this. "What's so funny?" she snapped. I shrugged, taking a sip of my drink. "It's just. Do you really think I didn't see this coming?" Her smirk returned, but it wasn't as confident as before. "Oh, please. You're too pathetic too." I cut her off. "You're sloppy, Melissa. Always have been." I watched her grip tighten around her glass. Good, she was getting defensive. That meant she was unsure. "I already knew about your little psychiatrist friend," I continued, "and your lover, and the lies you've been spreading about me to our friends." Her face paled for just a second before she recovered. "That doesn't change anything," she said. I leaned in slightly. "You're right. It doesn't change your fate, but it does change mine." She scoffed. "You think you can stop this?" I smiled wider. "Oh, Melissa, I already have." She wanted to lock me away? Fine. But first, I was going to let her believe she'd won. Then, when she least expected it, I'd rip her world apart. Melissa still believed she was in control, and that was her biggest mistake. I needed her to keep thinking that for now. The next morning, I acted exactly how she expected, distant, defeated, and quiet. She barely looked at me as she prepared her coffee, scrolling through her phone like I was nothing more than a piece of furniture in her home. Good. I had spent the night making calls, setting my plan into motion. If Melissa wanted to destroy me, she had no idea just how far I was willing to go to make sure she went down first. Step 1, the psychiatrist trap. Melissa had been whispering to people, our friends, my colleagues, that I was mentally unstable. She even mentioned she was worried about me, planting seeds of doubt. And her psychiatrist friend, the one who was supposed to declare me unfit? I made sure to get to him first. The night before, I had sent an anonymous tip to the medical board exposing his shady dealings, overprescribing medication, falsifying patient records, and even some questionable relationships with his female clients. Everything I sent was backed by evidence I had carefully gathered over the past few weeks. By the time Melissa called him that morning, he was already dealing with investigators. His career was in flames, and he was in no position to help her. She just didn't know it yet. Step 2, the lover's downfall. Melissa thought she was clever, but she was predictable. She always used the same hotel, the same excuses, the same routine. That's why it was so easy for me to set up surveillance and gather enough proof of her affair to make sure she could never twist the story in her favor. But I wasn't interested in just exposing her, I wanted her to feel the walls closing in on her. So I did something better. I sent an anonymous message to her lover's wife, along with pictures and videos. Melissa's affair partner, Ryan, was a wealthy businessman, but his wife held the real power. She was the daughter of a well-connected politician, and she had always suspected her husband was cheating. Now she had proof. By the time Melissa and Ryan met that evening, his wife had already frozen their joint accounts, kicked him out of their mansion, and was preparing to file for divorce with a legal team that would take everything from him. Ryan was furious. And Melissa? She had no idea why he suddenly turned cold on her. Step 3, public exposure. Melissa had been spreading lies about me, that I was dangerous, paranoid, even abusive. But I had something better, the truth. I sent select pieces of evidence to our closest friends, screenshots of her texts where she laughed about using me for money, recordings of her conversations with Ryan mocking me and calling me her backup plan, proof of how she had been slowly trying to manipulate my reputation. One by one, people began to see who she really was. And the best part? She still didn't know I was behind any of it. That night, Melissa came home later than usual. I could see the frustration in her face. Ryan must have lashed out at her. Maybe she had even tried calling her psychiatrist friend, only to realize he was in deep trouble himself. She was losing control, and I was just getting started. I poured myself a drink, sitting on the couch as she walked in. "Tough day?" I asked casually. She shot me a glare but said nothing. I smirked. "You have no idea what's coming next." Melissa was unraveling. She tried to hide it at first, masking her frustration with forced smiles and sharp remarks. But she wasn't as composed as she thought. She snapped at small things, kept checking her phone with anxious glances, and spent hours locked in the bedroom making desperate calls. Her lover, Ryan, had cut her off completely. He wasn't answering her messages, and I could only imagine the conversation they had. His wife had destroyed him financially, frozen his assets. Assets and custody were in the process of being taken. Melissa had backed the wrong man, and now her psychiatrist friend had gone silent. She didn't know the full extent of his legal troubles yet, but she would soon. She was losing everything. And I wasn't done. Step 4, Financial Ruin. Melissa thought she was in control of our finances, but she had never bothered to look too deeply into the details. She assumed I would continue paying for everything, that I would just accept my place in her twisted game. But I had been preparing. I drained our joint account, legally, of course, moving every penny I could into a separate account in my name alone. The mortgage, utilities, credit cards, all were now in her name. Now I wanted her to feel the panic of watching her world crumble. When she tried to use her card at the grocery store the next morning, it was declined. She tried another, it was declined too. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee, as she stormed into the house, her face red with anger. "What the hell is going on?" she snapped. I looked up at her, calm and collected. "Something wrong? Your cards aren't working?" she hissed. "That's strange." I leaned back, feigning curiosity. "Maybe you should check with the bank. Could be a problem with your account." She glared at me, something flickering in her eyes, suspicion, maybe even fear. But she still didn't know. Not yet. Step 5, Social Isolation. Melissa had always cared about appearances. She loved the attention, the admiration, the validation from others. She thrived on the idea that people envied her life. So I took that away from her too. Word had spread among our friends. The carefully curated image she had built was falling apart. Her closest friends, people she had bragged to about her open marriage plans, had started to distance themselves. Some had seen the evidence I shared, others had simply sensed the shift, realizing she wasn't the person they thought she was. By the end of the week, she had no one left to turn to. No lover, no money, no friends. And then I made my final move. Step 6, the breaking point. That evening, I sat across from her at the dinner table. She barely touched her food, staring at her phone, trying to find a way out. I placed a single envelope in front of her. She looked at it, then at me. "What's this?" "Divorce papers," I said smoothly. She scoffed. "I told you, you're not leaving me." I smiled. "You're right, I'm not leaving you. You're leaving this." I slid a second document toward her, a foreclosure notice. Her name was on it. Her face paled. "What?" "I moved all the finances into your name weeks ago," I continued. "The house, the bills, the debts, it's all yours now. I'll be out by the end of the week. You have about a month before the bank takes everything." She shot up from the chair, her hands trembling. "You can't do this." "I already did." I stood up, adjusting my jacket. "Enjoy your new life, Melissa." As I walked away, I heard her chair scrape against the floor as she slumped back down, staring at the papers in shock. For the first time in our marriage, she realized she had lost. And I had won. Melissa tried to fight back. She called lawyers, begged the bank for extensions, and even attempted to reach out to Ryan, but none of it worked. The lawyers wouldn't touch her case, not when I had a rock-solid legal trail proving every move I made was legitimate. The bank didn't care about her sob story. And Ryan? He was gone. I made sure of that. But I wasn't done. She hadn't learned her lesson yet. Step 7, Public Exposure. Melissa had always thrived on status. Her image was everything. She loved being the perfect wife, the charming socialite, the one others envied. So I stripped it all away. I compiled everything, the affair, the financial ruin, the psychiatric scheme, and sent it to her workplace anonymously, of course. Within days, whispers spread. The woman who once held her head high, who basked in admiration, was now a joke. Her boss called her in. "This company has a reputation to uphold," he told her flatly. "We can't have someone with questionable morals representing us." She was fired on the spot. No money, no house, no job. She was done. Step 8, the ultimate humiliation. The final move wasn't about destruction, it was about humiliation. Melissa had spent years treating me like a doormat, thinking she held all the power. She wanted me broken, begging on my knees. So I gave her exactly that. One night, I invited a few friends to a high-end bar, people she used to know, people who once admired her. And, of course, I knew she'd show up. Desperate and humiliated, she came looking for someone, anyone, to help her. She saw me first. She hesitated, then swallowed her pride and walked over, forcing a smile. "We need to talk," she said. I leaned back in my chair. "About what?" She sighed. "I made mistakes. But we don't have to end things like this." I smirked. "And what we ended a long time ago. You just didn't realize it." Her eyes flicked around the room, people were watching, the same people who used to respect her. I stood up, towering over her. "You once said you'd make me crawl on my knees and serve you champagne while you entertained your lovers." I reached for my drink, raising it slightly. "Looks like you got it backward." She was speechless. And then I delivered the final line, the one I knew would haunt her forever: "Enjoy your new life, Melissa. You earned it." I walked away, leaving her standing there alone, shattered, with everyone watching. She had lost everything, and I had never felt more free. Epilogue: A new beginning. Melissa disappeared after that. Some say she moved to a different city, scraping by on whatever job she could find. Others say she tried reaching out to old friends, but no one wanted to be associated with her anymore. As for me, I thrived. I rebuilt my life, surrounded myself with people who actually respected me. And when I finally found love again, it was with someone who understood the value of loyalty and trust. Melissa once thought she could control me, but in the end, she was the one left crawling. And I walked away without ever looking back. Was this revenge justified, or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take. And if you love jaw-dropping pro-revenge stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like for more thrilling tales you won't want to miss. Every like, share, and subscription means the world to us. It helps us keep bringing you the stories you crave. Your support truly makes a difference. Thank you so much for being part of our community.